Hi everyone, welcome to the Biology and Neuroscience Department. My name is Dr. Hollander and I am one of the professors in the Anatomy and Physiology program. For those of you that are interested in biology and neuroscience, which you should be or you probably wouldn't be watching this particular video, we have a lot of options for you here in the Biology and Neuroscience Department. But for today, we are going to be highlighting the anatomy and physiology labs. The reason we do that is we have found that a large majority of incoming freshmen are interested in some type of career in healthcare, and therefore a large portion of you, if you make this choice, will be coming through the anatomy and physiology classes. So, a little bit about the program here. Basically, to come in as a biology or neuroscience major, you will first take classes based on whatever math class you're in. Okay, so math counts a lot. If you are able to begin in what we call Math 127, which is our trigonometry class, then you will be able to take chemistry. You have to take one semester of general chemistry before you can enroll in your first semester of biology. Okay, biology, our basic cell and molecular biology class, most majors will take the second semester of their freshman year. And after you take that, providing you get a C or better, then you're able to start taking other classes such as anatomy and physiology. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that really quickly and about the different programs, and then I'm going to introduce some of my colleagues and we're going to show you some of the fun things we do in Anatomy Lab. Okay, so the difference between biology and neuroscience, that's something that we get asked a lot. Neuroscience is a lot of biology classes with some psychology classes. Okay, so it's a combo program, and so if you're interested in the way the brain works, and you're also not just the biology of the brain, but also the psychology side, that is a perfect choice for you. If you are interested in just about anything else that has to do with biology, then biology is a good choice for you. One point I do want to make especially before we talk more about the anatomy labs, is that we have a wide range of classes here in the biology department. And so a lot of people, like, let's say that you're pre-med, you know you want to try to go to medical school, but you get here and you're taking all your pre-med classes, you're taking your chemistries, your physics, your math, your basic biologies, and then you say, hey, I've always really been passionate about birds. You can take a class in ornithology, learn all about birds, and that can also count towards your biology degree. Okay, so we have a wide variety of desert ecology, we have marine biology, you can learn about birds, reptiles, fish, insects, whatever you're interested in. So biology is really, really good. A lot of people that are pre-health end up majoring in biology because there's a lot of overlap. So all of your classes that are required for medical school, dental school, physical therapy, all of those types of programs, they are included in a biology major. So either way you go, whether you choose biology or neuroscience, you will start out with the same core classes. So I've already mentioned those. You have to be in a certain math, and therefore you're able to take your first semester of general chemistry and then go on to your basic biology. Okay, so a few things about things that you need to do before you can take anatomy. The anatomy and physiology program, as I've already mentioned, most people don't take it until sophomore, end of sophomore, beginning of junior year, somewhere right around there. And it's a full year program, so it's 2 semesters long, okay? Anatomy and Physiology 1 covers certain organ systems, and Anatomy and Physiology 2 covers the others, and you'll get a chance to be introduced to those. So if you're really passionate about it, if you come through the Anatomy and Physiology program, you're really excited, you really like it, you can apply to be on what we call our Advanced Human Dissection Team. Right? This is one thing that really makes University of Nevada stand apart, is that we have an active cadaver dissection program for undergraduate students. We are able, since we have, with our affiliation with the medical school, we are able to get 4 human cadavers every year, and they are dissected by a team that has been selected. You have to apply for the team and then be selected. If you're selected, you come in on Friday afternoons and you dissect these cadavers. And then we get new ones every semester so that we can start with the basic dissections over again. So it's a really exciting opportunity, and we have a really high acceptance rate to professional schools with our dissection team, which is something we're exceptionally proud of. So before we talk more about anatomy, I am going to have some of my colleagues introduce themselves. And so they're going to come in. One quick disclosure, I know this is on camera right now, but this is being filmed by a bunch of biologists, and none of us are experts in videography or anything like that. So bear with us. Hopefully it all works. All right, guys.
Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Bagley. I'm the other Anatomy and Physiology professor. I teach Anatomy and Physiology Part 1, and Dr. Hollander teaches Anatomy and Physiology Part 2. So if you take Anatomy and Physiology here at UNR, you'll start in my class, and then after you finish that, the first semester, then you'll have Dr. Hollander the second semester, okay? So we've got a couple other individuals we're going to introduce. First we'll introduce Owen McCloskey, who's our lab coordinator, and then we'll introduce TJ Crippen, who's one of our grad students in biology working on anatomy and physiology type stuff for his master's degree. So, Owen.
Hey everyone, my name is Owen McCloskey. I am the lab coordinator, so I'm the one that helps you guys decide what labs you're attending. I'm the one that gets all the specimens for you to dissect. And also, if you're ever sick and need to attend a different lab, you email me and I can help disperse you to another lab so you can still take your quiz or your practical, whatever needs to be done. If there's any time that you have any problems with the lab, you can come to myself before you go to Dr. Bagley and Dr. Hollander. That only occurs for the lab. If you have any questions for the lecture, make sure you talk to the professors, okay? But any problems with the lab, please come to me and we'll get it all figured out. So now I'll hand it off to TJ and he can talk to you guys a little bit.
Hi guys, my name is TJ. I'm one of Dr. Bagley and Dr. Hollander's graduate students here at University of Nevada, Reno, getting my master's in cell and molecular biology, pursuing a Plan B master's where I'm working on a big project for the anatomy labs. I enrolled in the anatomy and physiology program when I was a sophomore here at UNR. I eventually applied to be part of the dissection team, and I was eventually able to become part of that amazing team in my junior year. I eventually became an undergraduate TA my senior year of college, and then I applied for my master's program and started working as a graduate student in the anatomy labs. So my role is to kind of help oversee like certain things in the lab. I help Owen a lot with certain tasks, working on a project where we kind of improve the overall quality of the anatomy labs by providing lots more online content and just modifying some other little things in the lab. So hopefully you guys like the video we put together. You guys will get to see lots of cool stuff we're going to talk about here in just a moment. And yeah, hope to see you guys at UNR eventually.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is give you guys a sample of some of the things that you would be looking at if you choose to take this class. During an average year, meaning a non-pandemic year, the Nevada-bound students come out on tours, and we allow them to come in the labs, put on gloves, and look around and touch specimens. Unfortunately, with things being on camera, it is actually against the law to take any type of video or photographs of cadavers, so you won't be able to see any of the cadavers today. If you do enroll in the class, obviously you have to learn on cadavers. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to turn it over to TJ, and this is sort of his expertise teaching these structures. So I'm going to have him run through what you'll see if you take Anatomy 1 and Anatomy 2, and we do have some specimens out here. So I am now going to be his assistant and hand it over to him.
Hey guys, so my name's TJ again. I'm one of the graduate students, and we're going to be talking about some of the stuff that you guys will learn if you ever enroll in the Anatomy and Physiology program at UNR. They've already talked about how there is an Anatomy 1 and an Anatomy 2. In Anatomy 1, you learned bones, skin, muscles, and nervous system, as well as some other various things like histology and things of that sort. And in Anatomy 2, you learned the cardiovascular, lymphatic, pulmonary, digestive, endocrine, reproductive, and urinary systems. So over on this side of the room, we have arranged what you would learn in Anatomy 1, and on the other side, Anatomy 2. Starting off, when you enroll in Anatomy 1, the first thing you begin talking about is bones and skin. So we have various models indicating layers of the skin, the glands of the skin, various things going on here like hair follicles, all that good stuff. This is like an example of a sweat gland, these two. This is the one that makes you stinky when you hit puberty. We eventually talk about bones, starting off with the axial skeleton. That means the skull and the vertebra with the sternum and ribs. So we can open up a lot of these models and look at various structures on the inside so you can get a really, really awesome firsthand experience of what the inside of a skull would look like. And then eventually you would go over the appendicular skeleton. That is basically your arms and your legs and your pelvic bone. So you can see an example of a disarticulated hand from a skeleton. So this would sit just like this in your body. Have an example of a pelvis right here, and you can see some of the different ligaments that would connect your pelvis to your femur, that's your thigh bone, and other things of that sort. So that was all what you would learn in Unit 1 of Anatomy 1. Moving on to Unit 2, you would be going over the muscles. Starting off with, for example, the muscles of the axial section of your body, so the head, torso, neck, all that good stuff. So you can see all the different muscles that go into all the different types of contraction. And yeah, all the different ones you would have to learn for the neck. This is kind of usually the hardest part for a lot of students. Next up, you would go over the nervous system and special senses. So you can see we have some models showing brains, different folds, different sinuses. This is a view of the spinal cord. So this is an individual vertebra and what the spinal cord would look like if you made a cross section of it just like so. And right here, we have a dissected nervous system. So you can see up here we have the brain, the spinal cord coming all the way down. This would be the brachial plexus, these nerves that come out and branch into your arms, and all these ones that come down into the legs and branch out into your lower extremities. So this is one of the cool things you would get to see if you enrolled in anatomy and physiology here, is you would be tested and allowed time to dissect and look at a lot of these terms, which is really awesome.
Hey TJ, where did this dissected nervous system come from?
It came from our dissection team. So if you took anatomy and physiology, did well, and were able to apply and become part of the dissection team, you would actually get to perform a dissection very similar to this, or other ones of equal merit. So really, really awesome program, would highly recommend.
But what about what type of organism it came from?
This came from a human. Sorry, that was what you were trying to get at.
So I would like to add that one of the unique things, again, about anatomy and physiology here at Nevada is that with our cadaver dissection program, our dissection team can come in on their own time in between semesters and do organ harvests, and we are allowed to keep the organs that were harvested, as we did with this brain and spinal cord, as long as we use those for education. So you will be seeing a lot of human organs. Even today, we are going to put some on video that have been harvested from some of our previous cadavers.
All right, guys, next up, we're going to begin discussing what you would learn in the second semester of Anatomy Biology 224, starting off with the circulatory system. Here you can see an example of some heart models. This is what we test students on very frequently, and various board models, such as this one, where you get to see a lot of the vessels that go into your upper and lower extremities. Over here we have a section of the abdomen, so you can see all the different vessels that go into the abdomen, such as the celiac trunk, your mesenteric veins, your gonadal arteries and veins, all that good stuff. And over here, a couple cool experiments that you guys will get to perform in lab, even if you're just enrolled in anatomy and physiology. You would get to perform a blood typing experiment, where you get to test antigens, antibodies, and all that stuff. And you would get to dissect a pig heart. So you can see this is a pig heart that's been dissected by students. We have various structures labeled. For example, these black pins right here would be labeling a papillary muscle. So it's kind of cool. You would get to learn structures like that on an actual heart and get to dissect it yourself. Next up, Unit 2 for Biology 224 would cover the respiratory, endocrine, and digestive systems. Here we have example of models of the respiratory system, lungs, the trachea, the bronchioles, all that good stuff. And here we have a dissected trachea plug. So this is another thing that some of our dissection team has gotten to do on their spare time is go in on their own time, perform these organ harvests where you get to see what that looks like once it's out of the body.
So this would be the esophagus, which is posterior, which means behind, towards your back. And this is the trachea that is anterior. So air and food will both come down through this opening. And air comes through to the trachea. And food, when you swallow, closes this epiglottis. And the food will move down into the esophagus, which I can't get my finger in right now, but it's right there. It's all collapsed. So pretty cool harvest our dissection team was able to do for us.
And then these are a few other models that we often test students on. For example, a giant view of the inside of the liver, where you would see like the gallbladder and all the different vasculature pieces that go into this. We have stomach models, where you can take them out and look at the insides of what these organs are going to look like. An intestinal villi model, which is what you see right here, and an example of a pancreas. So we can test on all these different models, as well as the dissected specimens that we come up with. Last but certainly not least, everyone loves the urinary system. We also test on that. So you see a kidney right here, a cross section of a small piece of the kidney, and then what the sort of functional unit of the urinary system is, the nephron. And you can see kind of a bigger view of the urinary system right here, the kidneys, the ureters to the urinary bladder, and all that good stuff. And the rest of the unit, you will learn about reproduction, gestation, and contraception. So we have different models for the male and female reproductive systems, as well as a view of what the gestational process would look like. We have models that go from all the way down from the single cell stage all the way up into a fetus. And right here, you can see an example of a dissected female reproductive system. So this was dissected very recently by our dissection team. We had a couple really awesome team members took the initiative to harvest one of these for us so we can test students on this. So just again showing or highlighting one of the cool things that you can do if you're ever part of the dissection team. So hopefully this video got you excited about the anatomy program at UNR. Seriously, so many amazing opportunities. I've been dissecting cadavers for 3 years and I'm only 23, so that's kind of amazing to be able to say to others and just really get an awesome knowledge of the anatomy and physiology of your body.
Yay. Thanks, TJ, and thanks to all of you for watching us. And somebody should be around, well, will be around, I shouldn't say should. Somebody will be around on Zoom for you guys if you have any questions. So they'll show you how to do that, and we hope to see you here. Bye.